welcome everyone. I just wanted to obviously, put some training on for people. There's been a lot of people on my profile of late, and I've been speaking to a lot of people in Messenger. So I think it's always a good idea to just add a bit more value and show you a bit more of an insight into what happens behind the scenes. I think there's many different ways you can spin the property game, and there's many different techniques, strategies, etc. that you can go down, but ultimately it comes down to keeping it simple for me. And I think it's important to understand where we're going with everything and go through everything. So I'm just going to run through how I feel you can earn 5K net a month, a very quick space of time. It doesn't, by just keeping things simple. I think a wise man once said, complexity is the enemy of execution. And sometimes you can go too deep into things and you can get too complex and look for various different complex actions, and it actually leads to just doing nothing in the end and falling to the wayside. So this training, it's for you if you are one of, if you want to grow, and one of your top values is growth and scaling quickly. Anyone that works with me knows that we move quick. I'm very impatient, and I don't like to hang around. So I think that is how you scale quickly. And I think you've got to genuinely care about your landlords, your investors, and your estate agents, because they are your clients, and you've got to want the best for them. And I think that's a huge part that's often missed. So I think that's a huge part that's often missed, and people look at that they see estate agents as the enemy, they see landlords as the enemy, and ultimately they're your clients. So if you seek the simplest path to your goals, not the easiest path, because if you seek easy, you get failure, okay? But if you seek simple, you'll get ease and you'll get success. So nothing's complicated when you know what you're doing. It's very easy, but it's not. If you think it's going to be easy, then you're going to get failure. So if you want to make a massive impact and make a lot of money while doing it, and if you're sick and tired of wasting time on strategies that don't work, I speak to a lot of people week in, week out, and several, quite a lot, a high percentage of tried things, tried courses, some of the bigger names, and just don't get anywhere with it, which is disappointing, really, that people are investing time and money in that and not getting anywhere. So, if that's you and you're sick of wasting your time and strategies you're trying out working, then, maybe listen up, because this could be for you. So this is not for you if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, if you're not willing to put the work in, if you don't care about the results for your clients, and if you're going for a quick cash grab. And if that upsets you, or you're that type of person, seriously, you'll be better logging off now, because nothing in this game and nothing in life comes for free. So if you're looking for a quick get-rich-quick scheme, this is not it. And I think we're going to hear from some of the guys that I work with and have worked with over the last year or so, and they're more than likely going to echo that as well. And I think anybody that you speak to in property will also echo that. It's lucrative and it can create a lot of time freedom and financial freedom, but there's a lot of hard work that goes in behind the scenes. So so for me, I think there's 3 steps to scaling fast. Right now, if you've got a problem where maybe you're wasting your time and energy on strategies and tactics that aren't getting you the results you're looking for, maybe you're getting frustrated by not knowing exactly what the next step is to grow your business, and maybe you want to learn the simplest path to your business and your personal goals. And just while we're on personal goals, I'd like everyone to just drop into the chat. What are your personal goals over the next 90 days, 6 months? If everyone just pings them in there, I just want to get a bit of an idea of kind of who we've got on the call here and what their kind of goals are over the next sort of 90 days, 6 months. We're going to have a Q&A at the end. I'm going to hang around until all questions are answered, and we'll look into the chat and we'll start. So any questions that you do have going through, ping them in the chat, and we'll go through it. But it'd be a good idea to have a look at some people's goals and discuss those at the end as well. So if everyone can just take a couple of minutes, I'll just let Alec in. If everyone can just take a couple of minutes and just ping your goals in the chat, and let's just see where you're kind of going with this and see who's on board. So got achieve in the month, probably more BRRs, go off the rent market harder, secure passive income, secure a rent property. No sound for some reason. Everyone else got sound? Thumbs up? Yeah. Not on my end. Manny keeps logging in. Try to the meeting and join back. And generate at least $3,500 a month. Okay, awesome. So just keep pinging them in the chat. I know you've got questions. So the promise of my program is threefold. So you'll know exactly what to say yes to and what to say no to in order to scale your business. And I think that's very important. It's more important to know what to say no to than it is to go along with. So as you get busier and you're scaling, and as you're, we all operate around busy lives, you've got to understand what's going to serve you and what's not going to serve you. So saying no to a lot of stuff is really important. And that makes more sense as you scale your business. But you've got to know exactly what to say yes to. And that comes in terms of, many forms of, where you're going to go, what strategies you're going to do, who you're going to listen to, what you're going to take on, and all that sort of stuff. So you'll stop wasting your time on shit that doesn't work. I've got a step-by-step roadmap to acquiring a large portfolio at speed. It's worked for me. It's worked for many others that I've worked with. And it is a step-by-step guide, and it works. So you don't need to continue to, go and research other crap and try this strategy, and then it works for 2 or 3 weeks, but then your enthusiasm fails because you get rejection all the time. So it keeps you moving in the right direction. It creates the accountability that everyone needs to just get that handful of portfolios on board. And then once you've got your first handful of properties, the scaling is probably the easy part, because you're just rinsing and repeating the model, and you know what you're going after. You tend to go after the same sort of stuff, and you just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then it is literally just a plug and play system. You just plug them in more and more and more, and they just, it just exponentially grows. So at this point, obviously I've got 3 guys on here, at least from my current network. And is there anything you guys want to add at this point? We just start at the top. Zach, George, Nick, just chuck yourself off mute and just fire in. If there's anything you want to add.
Hi guys, yeah, I'll jump in first. So yeah, just going off what Ryan said around the sort of hard work side. So it's definitely hard work. So there's no kidding about that. I think I'm sure many of yourselves are in the same boat as me, but I'm currently doing a full-time job in between, making trips up to Stoke. So I'm based in Reading at the moment. So a full round trip to Stoke, I think it's about 3 hours there, 3 hours back. So it's hard work to fit it all in, sort of in between the day job. I guess from what Ryan said, it's kind of you've got to. It's almost a matter of wanting it. I think Ryan and everybody involved in the WhatsApp group, everybody involved in the Facebook groups, there's only a certain amount that they can motivate you, and hold you accountable. I think I think the accountability needs to come from yourselves first and foremost, and you need to have that desire to sort of get up and go. From a personal perspective, I think having the WhatsApp group and having access to Ryan, so to give you a bit of background, I've been on the course now for, how long is it, Ryan? Probably about 7
months.
7 months or so. So the payment plan and I guess the overall mentor plan was originally sold to me as a 6-month program. I'm now past that program and I'm still speaking to Ryan regularly. I've had a bit of a panic around a property I'm trying to complete on at the moment, around mortgages and around accountants and things like that. And it's so good to have a sounding board in Ryan, just to drop in a WhatsApp and get an instant response and sort of try to help to calm down that panic. So it's not just what you can learn from Ryan. It's also having the ability to drop in questions to the WhatsApp group and drop questions directly to him. So I think from a personal perspective, juggling a sort of a full-time job and having that panic about things going wrong and what am I doing the right things, and being able to send Ryan a voice note or a separate message is really useful for me. So that's kind of my original feedback of what Ryan just said there.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, a lot of people as well, what they don't understand is the confidence and the mindset that you've got to go through is probably, I would say, 95% of the battle of this game, because most of the strategy stuff you can learn online. So, but the confidence and the mindset and pushing through and knowing you're doing the right thing tends to be the major thing that I find holds a lot of people back. So if you're in that situation, then, you need to surround yourself with the right people.
That's what does it for me, actually. That the support in the times of self-doubt, the fact that, as Nick said, that there's an instant response most times, even at night time, to what might seem like a silly question at the time that isn't really a silly question, but just clarifies things for you and makes you have confidence in yourself that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path, and you're making the right decisions. And sometimes it's also good to hear that, no, don't do that, it's you make a mistake. So that support for me and I would say, accountability is priceless along the journey as well.
Yeah, second, just jumping on what George just said there, is it's also having the second pair of eyes over deals. So I've been part of another sort of property course over the last couple of years, and it's been a slow burner from that point of view. It's been lots of education and all of that sort of stuff, which is only going to take you so far. And eventually you're going to need to get up from behind the computer screen and behind the textbooks and actually go and do things. So it's quite a nerve-wracking process going through the first deal and making those offers and getting offers accepted. But having Ryan just to in those times of nervousness, just having Ryan to be said, can we quickly just book a call? Can we just run the numbers? Can I just sort of explain how I've come to those numbers, and can you give me that seal of approval? Is it definitely takes that kind of worry that you're doing something wrong. Property can be expensive if you get it wrong. So having that second pair of eyes just to say yes, and or even just to say no, it's not a good deal, and these are the reasons why. That's really helped me. I think there's been a couple of conversations, Ryan, that we've had where you've been like, nah, this is not going to work. So that in itself has probably saved me the membership fee. If you look at it that way, you're essentially saving more than what you're spending. So it's definitely definitely working for me.
I think as well as the hardest part about the whole journey is starting. I must admit, like, you've always got that self-doubt in your mind to say, because it's something you've never really done before, and it's a big risk you're taking at the same time. It's more risk in yourself, juggling, say, a full-time job and also this. But they say as well with regards to, let's say, the course payment and stuff like that, it holds you accountable. Because obviously, if you're spending some money on it, you value it more than what you would do if it's free. Because I know a lot of free stuff, you just think, oh yeah, sod it, no problem. You don't take action. But for my personal stance is that since I've paid for stuff, I value it a lot more, because I value the money of the time I've put to earn that money, and then also I value my time. So it's one of them. So if you're on the fence, all I can say is just jump, just do it. Best thing I ever did anyway, certainly. I don't know where Ryan's gone now. Where has he gone?
Yeah, I think he's just having some connection issues. He's going to hop on as soon as he can.
Oh,
Thought you made that lasting impression, Zach.
oh no, yeah.
he had enough of it by that point.
Got sod this, I'm off.
How many properties have you got, Nick?
So yeah, as I said, I was kind of doing the property stuff for I think 2 years. I think it's coming up to the 2-year point, and there was a lot of educational courses. There was a lot of kind of work that was going in behind the scenes about getting all the knowledge and stuff, and it kind of got to the point where I was actually hiding behind the education side. So I felt like I needed a bit more, and I came across Ryan on Facebook, and I messaged him, and he messaged back straight away and was like, can we are you free for a call? So started that, and I'm currently closing on the on my first property. So that was all within however many months of joining Ryan's course, despite the fact that I've been doing sort of other property training and bits and pieces beforehand. So it certainly helped me. It gave me, maybe admittedly, I'm more of one of those people who has to have all the knowledge and has to make sure everything's all in line and make sure the numbers are all in line and all of this sort of stuff. And it just took Ryan and the other guys in the WhatsApp group just to be like, this is a good deal. Let's this is how you can work it out. This is what works and this is what doesn't work, and it was enough to give me the push to put that deal through. And currently going through that process at the moment. So in the process of closing my first one.
Thanks.
No worries.
So the thing is as well, people always forget is that there'd always be a risk when doing any sort of strategy whatsoever. It's all about eliminating the risk as much as possible. So like, say, just do run your figures, do your due diligence, and say if you can minimise that risk as much as possible, there's a good chance you're going to succeed with that deal.
Did you hold the forecourt for me?
Trying to.
Honestly, can you see my screen now again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Okay, cool. Anything else to say, guys? Or have you pretty much? I imagine you've gone.
No.
No, unless anyone has questions. I think I've sort of said my piece.
Is that Kush?
No.
Who's that?
Like whoever that is, can you mute? There we go. Right. All right, guys. Cool. Can you still hear me? Yeah. Cool. All right. Awesome. Right. Cheers, guys. Thanks for that. So we want to come on to I think a lot of, as I said before, a lot of it is mindset. So, my journey has, it might look as though it's been easy, but it hasn't. Prior to about 4 years ago, I was probably at my lowest I've ever been. So I couldn't be bothered to do anything. I was, not really, I was working a lot of hours and I wasn't really doing anything and I wasn't going very far. And obviously that's quite demoralizing. And I couldn't even be bothered to take my kid to his party. I remember at 2-year-old, I was sat on the couch and come across a video, and I started watching this video, and it basically started asking some real deep questions about, what your purpose is, what you want to achieve in life, and all this sort of stuff. And I think it takes moments like that to give you a true purpose around why you want to do property as a venture. It's all well and good saying, oh, it's about the money and it's about the financial freedom, but when you get past that point, it's got nothing to do with the money. It's always a bigger purpose. The money's a medium to get to the bigger purpose. So for for me, it was more to make sure I don't miss my kids' lives, so I can, you know, spend more time with them, etc., etc. But I had to really switch around what I was doing, and that was in everything that I was doing. So, you know, it was attitude, it was my health and fitness. I am a thin, fat person inside, so I can eat as many cream cakes as I want. I can do whatever, and I don't put any weight on. But that isn't necessarily a good thing, because I am obviously not fueling myself properly inside, and therefore haven't got the right energy levels and stuff like that. And I think property in itself is a game. You know, you've got Nick there who's traveling up to Stoke outside of his work hours. You know, he's coming home from work and he's doing his bits and bobs, you know, and he's got to be mentally tough to continue to push and keep doing all that stuff. So you've got to find what your true purpose is, but you also need to realize that, you know, there's a lot more involved in doing this, but if you do it, you get it right. So I changed my ways, and I now obviously get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I do my work 5 till 8 o'clock in the morning. It was those extra 3 hours that I created for myself, but I've managed to continue that as a habit and keep going forward. And that was kind of one of the biggest mindset shifts for me, as well as the 10x action. So basically, whatever you think you need to do, if you're doing stuff now and you're not getting the results from it, it's more than likely because you're not doing enough. And it's all about the 10x action. So if you're going on 5 viewings, you really need to be going on 50. You know, if you're speaking to 10 people, 10 landlords, 10 estate agents, you really need to be speaking to 100. And if you get somewhere close to that 10x number, your pipeline blows up. And that was the game changer for me. So everything that I started doing, I started realizing I needed to do 10 times more. And I just tried to do 10 times more all the time. So, you know, so always think about the mindset and the amount of action that you've got to do. But if you do that amount of action, you will get the quick results. You will build a portfolio in 90 days. You will be financially free within 6 months to a year. You know, you'll have a 7-figure property portfolio within a few years if you do that level of action. But when you start to do it and you start to get the results, you also start to get lazy as well. So you've got to be able to continue to push yourself on that and keep kicking forward and keep the mindset right and going forward. So, so that was a few major changes for me, and I've managed to stay the course of the journey and not just allow it to be a fad where, you know, I did it for 4 weeks and it worked a bit, and then I couldn't be bothered to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning anymore, you know, so I give it up. You know, I've actually stayed the course of it, and it's really served the purpose for me, and obviously got to where I needed to be. So, so you've got to get your mind right. You know, it's not just about motivation as well. It's about getting your mind right in terms of how you think about things. So, you know, what is the value that you're going to bring to your clients? Too many people, in my opinion, do nothing but think of themselves in this game. And, you know, you see all the time, I'll come on in a bit, but people just posting shit in Facebook groups, gimme, and giving like no value back. You know, I get it all the time. I delete and block them from my group. All they want to do is come in, spam an advert in there about their business, you know, and offer no value to anybody. That is not, that you're not providing value to anyone, and you're not going to get very far doing that. This is a huge thing for me. Done is better than perfect. So imperfect action is so much better than no action at all. Too many people try to get things perfect before they take any action. You know, they want to get their spreadsheets right, or get their logo right, or, you know, and get their business cards all printed, and, you know, just take some action and get out there and do it. Done is better than perfect. Funny, when I was building this, and I did have a few, I took them off, but I was looking at some of the adverts that I put on Gumtree several years ago. And honestly, they were fucking shit. But like, they got results, you know, and it was the fact that I just committed every day to putting one on there. And, you know, and they got results, they got leads, they picked up acquisitions from it, you know. So it's, you know, done is better than perfect all the time. So just get out there and take the action. You know, action leads to insight more than insight leads to action. So that basically means you're going to learn more on the job than trying to study the job and going after it. Quick story on that. When I was trying to be a professional golfer in my early years, I used to train next to a kid. We both had the same coach. We're both the same age. Both grew up in the same area. he would just live on the driving range, just hitting golf ball after golf ball after golf ball. I would go and play in tournaments all the time. I wasn't that bothered about practicing. I just wanted to play, you know. And he could strike a ball on the range. He could do what he wanted. He looked awesome. But when he got on the golf course, he just blew up because he didn't have the experience of just, you know, getting it, doing it over in that situation all the time and taking the action. So he was trying to perfect the insight, you know, whereas I was just taking the action, and that was leading to the insight. So we both failed in the end, and none of us became professional golfers. So it doesn't really matter. But the idea was I definitely had better results than he did because I would just get out there and take the action. And I think you speak to anybody, you know, you learn on the job a lot quicker by making mistakes and getting out there. You got to do the shit that other people don't want to do. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I've done that I don't want to do, and you continue to still do it at times. But the good thing about doing the shit that you don't want to do is it forces you to build the processes and build your business out how you want it and how it works for you. I can tell you exactly the processes I do, but that might not suit every business because people are different. People want to run their businesses different. People have got different purposes, different visions, but doing it at the beginning, you know, especially with the likes of serviced accommodation, HMOs, and you know, you want to understand how it is going to play out, how you want to manage it, how you don't want to manage it, and how you want to get involved in that. I mean, I think by getting involved and doing the shit, you can figure out what processes are going to work for your business, and then you can flourish thereafter because your processes take over. Like I say it all the time now, but someone could give me 100 properties tomorrow in a variation of formats, and it would just be a case of into the office. They know what the setup documents are. They know what actions need to be taken based on X, Y, and Z, and the whole thing just gets set up. And it will be set up quite quickly. So anybody that has inquired or used us as a management service or service accommodation will understand that. Anybody that's used us, you know, on various other platforms will understand that. We're quite quick. We've got so many processes behind the scenes. You know, we drop it into the Slack group and it's just bang, everyone just takes action. But that's been formed from a process, and that's been built from my process, from my experience of what I wanted to do in terms of building this company out. So alignment with your offer, this is vital, and anybody that is in my inner circle will know how passionate I am about what I call the Magic 8. I do feel like on the rent-to-rent side of things, rent-to-SA, rent-to-rent, that sort of strategy, the Magic 8 formula that I've created, I think I'm so aligned with that offer that when I speak to a potential investor or landlord about that offer, they must see the passion that comes out, and that comes out in itself, and that wins deals over because they know that I firmly believe in my offer. And if you don't believe in what you're doing, you will struggle to, you know, push that across to other people. And that goes as far as trusting that, you know, your numbers are going to work. So if you want to, say, for example, do rent to SA, and you're trying to speak to a landlord, but deep down, you're not actually sure whether the figures are going to work. You're not actually sure whether you can deliver on your promise of, you know, renting it for X amount of months or years, or, you know, paying them, you know, every month without fail. And, you know, if you're not sure you can live up to that, that will show through when you're trying to speak to them. And therefore they'll, you know, probably get a bit of hesitation. They'll see it in yourself. And, you know, so I am so aligned with the offer of every single part of my business, every single service that we offer. I feel like I am so aligned with it. And that then portrays not only down to the staff and everybody that I work with, but also to the people that we're trying to do deals with, acquire with, and JV partner with. So that is really, really important. And if you can't get aligned with your offer, you will always struggle to scale quickly. So have a think about what your offer is. And if you're not aligned with it, maybe you need to find something that you do become aligned with. It can still be in property, you just need to find it. If you've got less than 10 properties, you need to master these skill sets and these skill sets only. So you need to develop the skill of your offer creation. So get aligned with your offer. What is your offer? You know, what is your company offer? You need to get aligned with your marketing and your lead generation, because I firmly believe that I built a property business off marketing not built a property business and then did some marketing like most people do. So, you know, it was my marketing skills and my marketing skill set that allowed me to scale quickly, get myself out of obscurity, and make sure that everybody knew what I was doing. And, you know, if you can master marketing, lead generation, I think no matter what industry you're in, you've got a business for life. Yeah, no worries, Nick. That's fine. Thanks for coming on. So it's, so if you've got less than 10 properties, you need to develop the skills of offer creation, marketing, sales, and building relationships. Nothing else. You don't need to worry about, you know, employees, too many processes, X, Y, and Z. You just got to go after the beginning bit, which is just acquiring properties and building relationships. You know, getting yourself out of obscurity and starting to build your brand. Don't worry about the rest of it. The rest of it comes, you know, when you're further down the line, you've got a bit of cash flow coming in and you're starting to scale. You know, that's when the rest comes in. But for now, if you've got less than 10, those are the skill sets that you need to develop. And if you don't develop them, you will grow at a very slow pace. But if you develop them quickly, you'll grow. You know, this market has a lot to offer. Probably even more so than now. You know, there's loads of rental opportunities out there now. The BNV opportunities coming back now. You know, we're starting to pick up a lot more, have a lot more negotiations with estate agents. I think we've picked another one up today, you know, which is probably 30 grand under done up value with about 10 grand spend. So, you know, good BNB deal. So the market's starting to come back. Finally, on this point as well, you know, if you know you're going to be successful, you don't worry about money. You worry about wasted time. You know, anybody that speaks to me now, I am so anal about time and wasted time. Anybody that wants to sit and chat with me on a phone, unless it's important, I try and cut them off because, you know, I try and save that for my downtime and my personal time. If it's, you know, business related, you know, I have actually stood up in meetings and walked out and just cut the time dead because it's just the meetings will turn into socials. You know, I am so anal about time now because you cannot, that's the one thing that I can't generate more of. I'm hoping that someone might create a magic pill between now and probably when I get to 80, and it might give me a few more years. But you become so focused on time. If you know you're going to be successful, money's not the thing you focus on, it's time. So, but what I have realized by focusing on time is allows me to get my leverage right and be able to then grow quicker because I empower more people, and effectively I'm multiplying my time all the time. So I'm growing at quicker rates than I ever have. And that seems to, every month we seem to do better and better and better. You know, even through COVID, we've done better and better and better every month because I'm growing, the team's growing, and, you know, everything is growing around me because I'm starting to focus on working on the business and creating time for not only me, but everybody else so they can focus on their KPIs and they can just push forward. And if that's you at the beginning, then you've got to analyze your time. You know, where are you wasting time and where can you improve? You know, so you've got to make sure, you know, so many people say to me, I haven't got time to do this. I haven't got time right now. I call total bullshit on that. You know, total bullshit, because most of you will watch at least 1 or 2 hours of Netflix a day. Most of you will go to bed at 10 and get up at 7, half 7, 8 o'clock, you know? So all you've got to do is stop telling yourself the time excuse and start figuring out how you're wasting time, and then start spending that time in focused areas that align with your offer, and you push through the pain and ultimately you start getting the results. So that's huge for me at the minute, and that's allowing me to scale at a rapid rate. So just listen, at this point, halfway through, it'd be great to get it would be great to just what are your key takeaways so far? You know, just drop them in the chat. What are your key takeaways so far? I've lost most of the chat when I went offline, but just give me a chance to have a drink. If you just drop in the chat what your key takeaways are so far. Obviously, we'll come on to Q&A in a bit, and I'll answer questions. But if everyone can just ping in the chat what your key takeaways are, that'd be great. Richard, mindset. Stop wasting time and stop the excuses. Yep. how many people we got in here? 23. Knowing you give value first, 100%. 100%. I need auto gen rent to SA properties. I have no time is a bullshit excuse. It certainly is. 6 hours of sleep, that's all you need. It's proven. You just got to train yourself. It's like anything, it's a muscle. You know, you just got to train your body. So, but there's also then the factors that you got to put into the body to make sure that it ticks. I mean, I'm no PT by any stretch of imagination, but my diet's terrible at times. But you know, we think nothing of chucking shit in our bodies that have got such bad effects to our energy levels and our mindsets and all this sort of stuff. You know, yet you'd say to someone, put diesel in a petrol car and they'd like have an absolute hissy fit, you know, but effectively we do that day in, day out with the most prized asset that we own. So anyway, we move on. So you originally you got to work your way in and then you buy your way in. So what I mean by that is work your way into one. So that means you're doing the work, you've got to do the viewings, you've got to build the relationships, you know, you've got to be out there and about there, you've got to be doing all the action, doing the marketing, you know, pretty much you are CEO, marketing advisor, blah, 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 and all the roles in your company. But once you start getting to that 1 to 2 properties a month consistently, then you can start buying your way into more. So you can start buying your way into 5+ properties a month. So, oh, here we go, connection's unstable. So you can then start to, you know, leverage time by getting great staff around you. You can start working with consultants and you can start, you know, using deal sources direct for your business. You know, not deal sources that just punt deals to everybody, you know, deal sources that work for your business and, you know, they're out there and about getting, you know, on a commission basis, getting paid to actually source deals for yourself. And that's how you then start to grow and you start to leverage big time. And that's where the scale factor comes from. But obviously at the beginning, you've got to work your way in. But once you get to that 1 to 2 properties a month, then you start going to sort of buying your way in. So you're buying time, you're buying staff, you're buying deal sources. You know, it's my costs now are quite scary. I would never have thought I would have that much cost when I first started. But I guess that's just naturally. I was speaking to my accountant the other day, and he's just sort of like, that's unfortunately the progression you're on. You're going to have that. Your costs are going to go up. It's natural. So, but as long as you obviously keep your revenue higher than your costs and your profit keeps increasing, then, you know, it doesn't really matter. So simplify, you know, simplification, I touched base on it right at the beginning, is the key to all of this. So your foundation is your audience. So the current people that you are currently networking with, currently hanging around with, are more than likely where you can leverage a lot of acquisitions from. You can leverage a lot of contacts from, and they're going to move you forward to get you scaling quickly. There is no holy grail to this. You know, there's no secret. There's no, you know, get rich quick. You know, I said that at the beginning. But what there is you will already have a network surrounding you and access to all the deals that you need for the balance of this year and 2021. But you've got to know where to go and get it, and you've got to understand how to go and get it. And that is mainly by offering value. Personal profile. I am, you know, anybody that, you know, works with me in the inner circle understands how important your personal profile in Facebook is. You know, you do not need to be spending money on paid ads. I do it on and off. I did it heavily at the beginning, but I've got a new strategy and it's working wonders. And, you know, I've done it for some time now, but even very, very much at the beginning, your personal profile, your target audience in Facebook groups is all you need to scale quickly, especially with controlling strategies, you know, especially with controlling strategies. So understand how Facebook works is one of the key skill sets you can learn right now. For anybody that's got, I would say, at least 20 years in this business left, you will be evolved in Facebook. I can't see Facebook going anywhere. So, you know, you will be around Facebook. Facebook is everything to me at the minute. It does so much for Facebook, and it's a powerful business tool. It's not a social media tool, it's a business media tool. And when you start thinking of it that way, you can leverage a lot out of it, and you can really scale at pace. There's so much, you think back to, 20 years ago, there was no way you could connect with the amount of people you can connect with now. It's practically impossible. So, but now you have thousands, tens of thousands of people at your fingertips. You don't even need to go anywhere. So, simplify it, use the tools that are in front of you to get what you need. And have one offer at the start. Just have one offer. Rent to service accommodation, rent to rent HMO, lease option, whatever it is, BMVs, whatever it is, have one offer. Nail your one offer. For the first 90 days, 6 months, just nail your one offer, smash your portfolio up, get to that point where you've got some good cash flow coming in, and then start to diversify, and then start looking at adding other revenue streams in, other strategies in, and start bringing more cash flow into the business. But at first, just keep it simple. Just focus on one offer, ideally one area, but you can potentially push that out slightly. But the one offer is, it's crucial. It is crucial.